So, hey, stop me if you've heard this one. So, tonight I decided I was going to have chicken for dinner. You could say it's a murder most foul. You're always one of the most reactive to those jokes. I mean, most people sometimes they just stare at me like I just killed their daughter like right in front of them.
Good joke, good clap. If it was a bad joke, I go boo.
Hello,
You know what I'm
Arachnid.
about.
I do. Hello, Arachnid. This is your host this is your host D to the D, Dr.D, reaching out through the poorly supervised Spanish Main. Today I'm joined by Dan, who is, I think at this point, been on the show the most. I think he is the most repeated guest on the show because this is your third time.
I'm personable and people like me.
Other than Mike and the other like co-hosts, of course. But yeah, I think you're the highest. So congratulations, big spidery hug. All 8 legs.
I'm glad you like talking to me.
Yeah, right. It's a consistent thing. I just keep coming back for more. You just can't get enough of it.
Yeah, my wife says the same thing.
Gross. All right, so anyway, today we're going to be talking about post-Adepticon 2026, a little bit of, I guess, speculation. I guess maybe not necessarily speculation, but we're going to talk about the land and sea tournaments that happened at the event, and we'll just be talking Blood and Plunder, just maybe some speculations as maybe some balanced discussion, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of, we're just kind of shooting the cannons kind of stuff, maybe nothing too specific, nothing too in depth. But first we got to talk business. We would like to thank our patrons. Cyril S., James H., Chris C., and Aleph is the answer. As always, I really thank you guys for being patrons. It really helps us keep this thing going. I've really been stepping up the content creation just because I know that people have really been enjoying it. I actually went to a different Discord today as of time of recording, and I was talking about Carnival stuff, and there was a couple people in the Discord who were, I posted like a question, and people in the Discord were like, "Oh, are you going to start making Carnival content for Arachne?" I did not announce who I was or anything, and they knew exactly who I was. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. People know who I am. So, yes, we will be coming up with some Carnival stuff coming up. Tomorrow, we will be recording a big amphibious Steal the Governor's Daughter event. And we're using... Right, yeah, I'm excited for it. We've been using the pre-painted Carnival terrain, which is called Chroma, I think it is. It's MDF terrain. It's really good stuff. The directions leave a little bit to be desired, but overall, if you know how to do it, you build it. It looks really good, and I think it works super well for Blood and Plunder.
You doing
just
escort?
Because
escort that scenario?
It's going to be a little bit of a variation of that capture the surgeon thing. That
okay, even good.
People are racing.
Continue. I was just curious.
So. Hopefully it'll be recorded. It'll be the usual Arachne style where, I mean, I've seen some crazy battle reports on YouTube where people just take the time and they do this like narrative layout. And I'm like, I ain't got time for all that. I'm going to just record it and we're going to make jokes and just play the game and blah, blah. But hopefully that goes well. If not, you won't see it and I'll do it with somebody else later or whatever. I'll get it out eventually. But yeah, so Arachne is a part of the Professional Casual Network. If you want to help support the network, please sign up at our Patreon or purchase some hot swag at streamlabs.com for Professional Casual Network 1. If you want to help out the show specifically, sign up at the Digital Nomad tier. I think I've started to realize I never actually said that. I don't say that as much as I should. Digital Nomad helps us out specifically at Arachne. If you go to anywhere else in the network, it still helps us. It just doesn't help us out directly, if that makes sense. I personally am sponsored by Monument Hobbies. If you want to use some really rad paints, I've been trying the new First Steps. They're pretty good. I kind of go back and forth on if I do that. I really like the blue black. The blue black speeds up my painting for sure. The shadow flesh one, I think is pretty good. I haven't tried the other ones quite yet, but it's coming up. I got some Nurgle stuff coming, so I'm going to try the greens.
I heard Wizard Butt was really cool too, and I heard it was a good hit at Adepticon.
Wizard Butt is literally a random color. It's just like whatever weird they scrape the paint creator machine, and it just falls into a bear.
I couldn't make it down to the vendor hall. I was so busy just doing Firelock stuff.
Dominating the tournament boards.
We'll get there.
Too busy being a winner, yeah. But yeah, I've never actually tried
Too busy forging my own way.
Yeah, I see that. But yeah, if you want to use the code Professional Casual, you'll get yourself a swanky little discount, and you can use some of the rad paint that I like to use. Baron Dice makes some of the coolest dice in the biz. They started making tape measures. I picked one up at Adepticon where you can put a coin in it, and it'll cool. Personalize your thing. It's really good. My one complaint with it is that the tool that you use to pop the coin out, it's like this little it looks like a guitar pick, where you go in there and you pick it out. If you're using it while you're playing games, it droops, and so you're gonna knock stuff around unless you grab the little wire that comes off of it. So I might chop that off, but otherwise it's very good. It's very sturdy feeling. It feels good. I think it's worth it. But if you want to use Arachne, you get yourself a Swanky discount. And of course, we'd like to thank Gizmo Brian, who makes cool widgets. Who I don't think they're out yet. He's currently talking to Mike to try and get the license for Firelock specific stuff. I use his turn gauges that are not out yet technically. They were like a proof of concept, and I love them. I think they look beautiful. I used them against Dan actually in the last round of the Adepticon tournament. Anyway, it did no, it sure didn't. Yeah, so into the breach we go. So 2026 end of March is Adepticon. It is a fantastic event. There is no discussion on if I will be there or not. I will be there. What I'm playing is usually the question. It's an absolutely phenomenal event. It's 10 out of 10. I have no complaints about it, except for, I guess there's a tiny complaint. I still think that the historical area is very difficult to find for regular people.
Yes, absolutely.
Kind of stinks where it's located. I don't know if there's a solution to it. I think that is just kind of like the best.
More people playing, make us more popular.
That's true.
I think before they moved it, my first year that I went, so this is 3 years ago, we were in the main gaming hall right when you walked in. And then when they moved, they went, oh, that's right, historicals. Go back to the corner.
Well, but the last year, I think it was the last year that it was in Chicago, what they did with the Armada people, I'm not sure if you've heard about this.
Oh, then they moved them to a completely separate building.
Yeah, they were like in a different building. Yeah. Yeah. Oh god. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But I think that's my one complaint about it. Again, I'm not entirely sure there's anything anybody can do about it unless the game just gets a lot bigger. But they did seem to make it wider, at least in some of the halls, because I know that Monster Fight Club, they kind of got pushed to one of those weird little conference rooms that was on the very fringe of it. And this year they were in not the main hall, but like the side hall, the main side hall, I guess. So there might be hope. I mean, as far as like historical games go, I would venture to say the Blood and Plunder is probably one of the bigger ones. If not,
I mean, the Firelock tables in general, I feel like we had the largest spread there, and we were constantly doing stuff. There was very little to no downtime.
Yeah, 100%. I would say the Blood and Pigment guys, you guys, do a very good job of kind of keeping the ship going. I think the second biggest would probably be Saga, from what I saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's lots of Saga people there.
I don't really know what company that is. I know that there's like different people that sell it. I don't know. Gripping Beast, I think, is like the people who sell it in America.
I think that this year is actually the first year we had the entire spread of Firelock games except for like Scurvy Dice. Yeah. But otherwise, every other game was there and being run or demoed in some capacity. That was really cool.
Was Blood and Crowns there?
Yeah.
Okay, Blood and Crowns was there. So yeah, it was cool to see. The Blood and Valor tournament was pretty small. I know that the attendance this year was a little bit smaller than last year. I think there was something to do. There was like some kind of scheduling thing for a lot of people. They couldn't go.
Next year, though, I'll be doing it.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll.
This year's got other things to do, and I regret it. I will be doing it. I'm actually in the process of painting up my Russo-Japanese War Russians currently.
And I, at the urging of Osterwolf, who we love, Osterwolf's a great guy. He was a part of the Canadian military, and the unit he was in was the very last, like, founded regiment that went to World War One. It was Canadian because he's Canadian. So I decided I was going to play that army for Blood and Valor. But there are no Canadian rules. There's like a Canadian hero in the game, and that kind of like is the it's like the 40K. Oh, if you play with Pedro, that means you're playing with Crimson Fists or whatever kind of thing. I think it's that analogy. But I talked to Kai, who is Rufus's son. He's kind of like the one in charge of Blood and Valor. It's those two.
Him and Rufus wrote the book together. I believe that Kai did a lot of the research for it, from what I hear.
And Kai,
if I'm wrong, Kai, Rufus throw a glitter bomb in my mail or something.
No, it's definitely them. Kai was telling me that the next thing that they're releasing are rules for Canada. So that is actually coming up. So they're still making stuff for Blood and Valor. Whether it's enough for a book, he said that there may not be, like, they're still making stuff. It's kind of like because they made like the IRA and the they made like a couple other armies. I can't remember exactly off the top. Like the Mexican army.
It might be like a PDF release, possibly. Because that's what I did when I wrote the Russo-Japanese War stuff. I just sent it to Rufus, and within like a week, on the Firelock page for download.
Yeah. So, and the current hope is that they'll have enough stuff eventually for a book, and they'll just take those PDFs and take them down and just put them in a book. So it's kind of one of those things. And they'll probably update them a little bit too, as you do for these kinds of things. But yeah, so just for the record, it's kind of off the record, I guess. I'm not, there's no timelines or anything like that, but they are saying they're going to put Canadians in Blood and Valor. There was Blood and Bayonets. It was funnily enough in Connecticut, of all places, where I should be Blood and Plunder, technically speaking. But it's fine.
It's really weird. We've had a lot of people talk about that. I feel like if you want to do you want to run the Continental Army against the British, I feel like Bayonets is the better system for that. But if you want to run like the skirmishes and the smaller stuff, that's where Plunder will work. So there may be some overlap. I'm not sure, but I think that would be the best decision, because then you have the same marker dice. The only thing that'll change is your core rule set. But I feel like if you want to do the scrubbing militia fighting and taking out supply trains, you can do Plunder. And if y'all want to line up in the middle of the field and shoot G's out of each other, Bayonets works well for that. It's really ingenious. I looked at it first and was like, it might not be my thing. But then when Rufus was showing me everything, I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. When the Russians put it in, I'll play it.
I've played Blood and Bayonets a couple times. I've thoroughly enjoyed it every time I've played it. I've really enjoyed it. It's just enough formation play to make it interesting, but it's not the cumbersome Napoleonic game that everybody's kind of used to. Like with your,
I know. I sent Rufus stuff for Russians and said, if you want me to write them, I get to bring in the Navy. He said, go ahead. 24 hours later, got an Amazon book with all 500 Russian officers who served the Napoleonic Wars. I read through it, picked one that survived 3 separate wars. Said, he's cool. We'll do him. Sent it over, and Rufus is like, what? Like, you gave me homework that I like.
Yeah, homework's a lot easier to do when you actually have fun doing it. Yeah, I will say I have been thoroughly playing around with the idea of doing the 1588 Armada as like a self-written, as like a little self-made addition to Blood and Plunder, just so you can put like Francis Drake and stuff in the game. And I've been reading this book called Armada.
Tap me.
I don't want to.
You have questions, design questions? Tap me. Throw it at me. Say, hey, does this work? And I can look at it. Again, I have a couple things under my belt. But yeah, I don't mind helping him and throwing my hat in the ring there. Because I love that homebrew shit.
The first thing that comes to my mind is like, what do you do to make your book, worth playing? Well, maybe not worth playing, but like different than just like, early Buccaneer stuff. I was thinking that the mechanic of the book would be you're either in favor or disfavor of the monarch that you're ruling for, because there's only going to be like Spanish and maybe there'll be a little bit of Dutch just because of the Dutch Revolution was happening at the time. But
damn right,
like the Duke of Parma was like insanely talented and everybody loved him, and even like his adversaries were like, God damn it, we hate this guy because he's just so good at everything he does. And then Francis Drake at the time, I think the Queen was like he was like out of favor with the Queen at the time for whatever reason. So it's like I was thinking there'd be a way to maybe introduce that mechanic to the game where you have the favor of the monarch, and it like you can like pay extra points to like give your guy an additional thing with the favor would do. That's kind of what I've been toying around with in my head so far.
That'd be cool.
Because obviously that's a little bit more of a thing when you're fighting in Europe, when the king is somebody you
could like a fortune, but instead of a reroll, say, hey, I want to pay this to give my guys a lower target number on their shoot because we're in favor.
Right.
That could be cool.
Something like that.
We'll talk about later. You know how to reach me.
We're workshopping. Yeah. I'll make a group chat. But yeah, so like that's the stuff I've been kind of doing. But yeah, I will say Dan's Great Northern War expansion really did inspire me. Which it seems like that expansion is gaining ground. He told me some cool news. If you want to announce it now.
Oh yeah. So as of this recording, I don't know when it'll come out, but I am slated to go interview with On Tabletop next Wednesday.
That interview will probably have come out by the time this episode comes out. We got quite the little. We're trying to build a buffer. Got a buffer zone now.
Jerry and really also, liked it, and
don't forget Nova.
Oh yeah, Nova as well. I just found out like a day ago. He posted it officially. Timothy Stone is running the Firelock Nova tournaments. It sounds like, and Frozen Empires will be legal. So you should buy the book obviously because it's only $15 and it's great and it's more content for a nice low price. Yeah, but also, even if you're not playing one of those factions, if you want to play one of the army factions in a tournament, they will gain access to the hand mortars, which are in that book. So that even if you don't play any of the Northern War factions, there is still stuff in that book for you.
Yeah. And the Golden Gunpowder, one of my favorite patron ads that he does is you get all this content. You get all this pirate content every single month for all $5. And he always says, that's a pretty good deal. And that, I don't know. Every time you talk about the book, since it's only $15, I always want to say that. I was like,
it's a pretty good deal.
That's a pretty good deal. But anyway, yeah, that's a cool thing. I don't think I could possibly get another army taken care of before Nova to like play the Swedes. I definitely,
maybe you wouldn't mind introduces contrast paints. Then you can just.
No, I can't do that. Listen, you saw my stuff. I felt I didn't win best painted at the LAN tournament because half of my stuff was not like technically painted by any standard that I'm happy with.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely cut some corners on my militia, shall we say? But my Buccaneer and my Buccaneer look fantastic. It's like
they did. They were very sexy.
I don't go to events with any expectation of winning, which shocked me that I was top table at both tournaments. I was like, I don't belong here. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. And I just go there to win best painted and to just like make an ass of myself. Really, is like the majority of what it is I go to do. And I have to say, like, I guess I'm not too bad at this game.
No,
because clearly it's not too bad. I will say that the heavy lifting of list building, Miguel was very helpful for that. He gave me a lot of the good framework that I built off of. I didn't take exactly what he said. I did modify it with some of my own thoughts, and you offered some of your advice too, especially for the C event, which did pay off. But yeah, I just want to say that Father Gene, don't let nobody tell you that he ain't worth it. That guy's godly and a resolve.
Yeah, I was watching every single opponent you were with. They went from smile to they were doing the Nigel face. They were just
yeah.
When someone's across the table from Nigel and he's like doing his thing, you can see them. They're just like.
You see it in Blood and Valor, especially the opponents on that. They're always like, "Oh God, what am I doing against his Ottomans?"
That's how I won my first Valor tournament. Was I just played Shiggles? I brought as many Russians I could put on the damn board, and everybody went. Oh, and I was like, yeah, you killed that one squad. There's 4 more. They are full strength. Have fun.
Here they come. Here they come to save the day. So anyway, yeah, that's enough. That's a big preamble, but generally speaking, that's what you do at Adepticon. You have a great time, and so there's a lot of demos. I did the capture the shipwreck, King of the Shipwreck with Kara. We both seemed to have a really good time. If you had a good time, put a that confetti birthday kids cheering thing. No, it's all like yay! It's like when you're playing Halo and you get the Halo 3, you get the headshot.
Grand birthday party makes me so happy.
Absolutely,
nostalgia.
But yeah, we seemed to have a good time doing that. And I did Sea and Land tournament, and for the most part, that was it. I wanted to do the Maracaibo fight, but for some reason, the dates got mixed up when I was buying the tickets, and I had to do Blood Bowl instead, which I did. I got 1-1-2 in Blood Bowl, which is like a godly ranking. Let me tell you, cool. I didn't lose more games than I won. I was perfectly balanced, like all things should be. And what about you? What did you do for Adepticon?
So I ran demos. I was just like the last year, and I feel like the year before as well. I took care of C demos. C is my bag, and I'm used to, again, we talked about building a community. I'm used to running demos, so that is kind of where I'm at. And C demos are especially fun because they're really easy. You're just moving the ship. You don't got to worry about where people are moving their guys. I find that with land demos, while I personally think it's important you play a land game first, then go to C, there's a lot less analysis paralysis. So it's like the ship moves by itself. There's no action you have to spend. It just goes. So I usually at the end I was like, all right, so had 4 people. You 2 are going to shoot each other with cannons, so we can demonstrate that. You 2 are going to board each other, and it's going to be great fun. And everybody loved it. People love blowing each other up. Then when they get close, you can see it when they get close and the light goes on, like, oh, I can board. And it's like, hang on, they have loaded muskets. You have a tactical decision to make, and everybody just goes, oh, we'll do it anyway. And okay, defensive fire. Oh, they didn't score any hits. Welcome to the scrap, buddy.
And how dare you guys not give them any stink pots for the boarding process? I mean, come on. Yeah,
we make super simple. Super simple. We're just demonstrating that's advanced level tactics. You saw my list. I don't even use stink pots.
Yeah, I was gonna say you
Bodies
did not have
any great stink pots.
Was there a unit in that faction that could bring? I guess you could bring Interplogue. They have access to it.
I mean, all the sailors can bring
Zealandin technically, or Zealanders, or they
Zealandin, the European sailors, the muskets. I think everyone except for the coppers could technically bring them, but I have my own way. We'll get into that.
This is the way. This is the way. All right, so I guess you did not do the land tournament because you were helping run it.
And notoriously, I'm not very good on land, so I would have been a freebie.
Yeah, the game totally changes when the wind doesn't carry your guys around. Where you
When I have to actually move my guys and worry about things like cover, line of sight.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That craziness.
So
Son.
when with you running the event, is there anything that you noticed was like a standout? Was there anything in there that you thought was kind of out of place, or any, I don't know, like superlative things?
The tables all looked great. I saw a pretty wide faction spread when I saw that Nigel was bringing his Caesar's Men, which is a naval faction, on land. I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously, watching Joseph get mortalized by some French raiders is always great. I always love that. Always fun. The Spanish mission garrison is really silly but really fun. Being on the receiving end of it multiple times, which
got to call out. Josh got undefeated with it on sea.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that bad of a faction. There's something there. There's something in that old hat.
Mm-hmm. That old gunshot and arrows through the hat. Maybe a little rosary on there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Listen, if you got Jesus on your side, you don't need anything else.
Yeah, Mister. Wasn't Jesus your priest?
Yeah.
Did you have the Buddy Christ?
Yeah, Buddy Christ doing his thing. Well, I guess technically Father Jean does look like just like that monk that comes in the plastic kit or whatever. But yeah, I didn't have that painted, so I can't use that. It's got to be painted. But who doesn't love Buddy Christ? It's fine.
He'd make a great surgeon.
He does. He's like, hey, buddy. Gives him the old finger guns, and he just like gets up. He's like, oh my god, I can breathe.
It's the Fallout.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, anything else that you stood out?
I mean, there wasn't a single board that I thought where the minis looked bad, which sounds mean to say, but I love it. I love looking at people's minis, and there is definitely varying skill levels. I can't vouch for much because, again, I'm a speed paint goblin, but
something wrong with
all the minis looked great. Everybody was having a fun time, and even though this is a tournament, people get sweaty. It didn't feel like it was. I don't want to say 40K sweaty, but
it didn't feel oppressive. Like nobody was like there was no gunners.
Yeah,
I didn't feel like there was any gunners.
It wasn't like, you get off work, you hop on a Call of Duty, and you get destroyed by the most unemployed people you've ever played with ever. Right. Didn't feel like that at all. Everyone was having so much fun.
Right. I will say all three of my opponents were great. Funny enough, you say that Nigel's thing was a C faction, but me and him were at top table. Hounded. Yeah. I thought he had me dead to rights, but we'll get to that in a second. But so obviously we can't talk about your opponents. I'll talk about mine real quick. So my first round was against Robert Montgomery. Fantastic guy. Love him. He's great. He's a good guy. He was playing, I want to say it was Brethren of the Coast. I did do a write-up of this that is on Blood and Pigment if you want this in a written format. But I did play, it was one of those unaligned everybody but the Spanish factions. I'm pretty sure it was Brethren of the Coast. I don't remember if it was later Buccaneers or whatever.
Yeah, because they only have, I think, Marineros. They don't have any of their Spanish units.
That was it. And he didn't have any. He had veteran freebooters, some Marin, and some Indios. I guess there are some Indios in it. Or there's natives, I guess, in some way or another.
Yeah.
We had a good game. It was capture the thing in the middle. It all really came down to a charge that must have happened like turn 4, and then we just kind of had a slog fest. I've noticed that every single time I get a little eager and I put the Bucanets even slightly out of position, they just get charged, and they get into a fist fight. They get into a fist fight in the first and the last game, and both of the times they managed to like kind of win, which was weird because Bucanet are not very good at melee.
No, they're not.
Which is wild. I couldn't believe it. But the very first thing I did in that game is I saw like a 12-man unit of Marins with brace of pistols. And I was like, that's not coming. That's not getting anywhere near me.
that is not touching away now.
So as soon as it got close enough for me to do the whole French Buccaneer or the French Caribbean militia all the way up and all the way back shoot thing, I wiped it off the face of the earth. I put so much lead into that.
It was that meme with the beaver and a running body of water. He looked at that and said, absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely not. So we took care of that, and then after that, it was mostly just a shoot fest. He charged me, turned into that, and there you go. The second game was against somebody playing the Portuguese garrison. I forget his name. He was a great opponent. Name is totally escaping me. I'm really sorry if you're listening to this, but absolutely phenomenal guy. He had some cold dice. It was the scenario where the opponent has to kill like the enemy commander, or it was like you have to
Wanted Man.
I think it was Wanted Man. And I came on the long edges, so I put little bit of Caribbean stuff, like very soft pressure on the south. He kind of responded to it, and then everything else came from the north end. He garrisoned everything inside of a building, so I was thinking like, oh, this is going to be tough to kind of dig him out because he had some grenadiers, whatever the equivalent of a soldados is,
Mm-hmm.
and then some natives. And my Buccaneer, they just hit every shot, and then everything failed their saves. I would wipe out like 10-man units in a single just like round of bullets. It was crazy.
There's a reason why Joseph used to scream overpowered French from the heavens before Raise the Black.
I will say I didn't think it was quite as bad. I thought the resolve is a factor. I mean, if you shoot at the French, you're probably going to get some fatigue on you. They're very susceptible to ruthless, as me and you definitely noticed when we were playing our game for sure.
Mhm.
But thankfully, at least at sea, it seems like most of the French units are probably roaming around that 5 resolve. But on land, they're all like 6, except for like the Filibustier, which are great.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, my entire faction was resolve 6 because it was all militia, Buccaneer, and Buccaneeri. Which is why I thought Father Jean was so important, just because he gave you this little source of very inspiring. And he gives you artillery crew. Like, yo, sick. You totally need that when you're running around, fighting with your rifles. And he takes away a rifle.
No, if you put them in a fort, you have artillery crew now with the priest. That's great.
That's true. That's very true. and I put him in the unit with the Buccaneeri just so that they didn't, get in a flirty with any of the other men. He was like, listen, if they were dancing, there should have been room for them and the Lord.
You only know one man, and that is your musket.
So, and then the third game went up against Nigel. It started raining, like second round. I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. That's not good. And his entire force got up real close. There was these 3 buildings in the middle of the board, which made shooting real difficult. So I kind of, if you watch the recording, there's a point where I don't get flustered or anything, but I kind of resigned myself to okay, I don't think there's any way I can really come back from this. And Nigel was in the middle of doing this, like what I felt like was a gotcha. He was explaining rules to me, like I didn't know what they were, and I was like, yeah, I know what you're doing. Can we just come out, please? I don't want to sit here and listen to you explain rules to me. I get it. And we did it. We got into it. He just flubbed some rolls. All of his pirates had Buccaneer guns, so they didn't have the pistol, so they weren't very good. They weren't as good in melee. You figure without the brace of pistol, you're still hitting on 7.
Oh yeah, that's 7 fight. Oof, no thank you.
It's not great. It definitely can hurt you.
Something's a 7-5 without a pistol. It doesn't belong on my ship.
It's tough. That's tough. But he charged in and we fought and killed each other in a mud field. I just got like Agincourt vibes out of it. And
the Buccaneer were putting them in the mud. Just
they were drowning each other in this rain-filled, swampy, sowed field. It was pretty brutal. And I
go to sleep.
Au revoir. And it was great. So I walked out of that one with a win. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. Then next day, me and Miguel are still friends, by the way. And you can watch that recording. Josh did record it. He put up a camera. So every round there was one game getting recorded. 3 for sea, 3 for land. And I think I got recorded like at least 3 times. I'm pretty sure because I think my first game of my sea tournament was recorded.
You're loud and you're funny, so it makes sense.
Well, thank you. I feel sorry. We'll get to that in a second. So sea tournament next day. One thing I gotta say I love about the Blood and Plunder tournaments is that they start at 2:00, which is awesome. I love that. I hate having to wake up at 8:00 and feeling groggy that first round.
Yeah.
Absolutely, whatever. But we didn't get a lunch break or whatever, but it was just enough time, like, between rounds, you could go, like, grab a drink or whatever. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciate that. So if you're worried about time at the Blood and Plunder events at Adepticon, they're at 2:00.
You grab yourself pizza and a beer, and you'll be great. That's what I did.
Absolutely. Beers. And he still managed to win. I guess we will meet at the end, because we did meet at the end of it. How did your preparation for the sea tournament go?
So last year I used a very cheesy list, and this year I was like, I just want to build something fun and just kind of throw it out there. I primarily play boarding, for those who know me. I don't fuss around with maneuvering with artillery. I just want to go in with muskets and I shoot, and then I get close, I grapple, and then I beat you until you surrender.
That explains why you don't know what being assigned to the sheets meant. Mm-hmm. You're like, so you're just able to do free advanced maneuvers? I was like, yeah.
Because I have so many dudes that if I need to run an advanced maneuver, I have someone to run it.
He asked me that, and I was like, how does he not know how being assigned to the sheets works? So I was like, okay. Well, I was thinking maybe, you've been drinking, whatever. It was like, sometimes you forget stuff. It's fine. But I was like, how does he not know that? That's kind of
Because I have
surprising.
6 units on my ship and I have 3 movements. Chances are somebody's going to be doing it. And I do it on dedicated action. So if I need to do it, I get all those sweet little bonuses. But yeah, so this year I brought Austin Privateers, which is the best Spanish naval faction. Don't at me. Because it's a bunch of Dutch units with Ruthless. It's great. I brought a Mission Priest because that's legal because they're a Spanish faction. So the list is called Dutch Santiago. I put a write-up on it. I yelled Santiago, and Garrett gave me weird looks every time because it wasn't a Spanish Santiago. It was great. But
it should be said,
that's kind of what my thing is.
By the way, this was the first time I've have had prolonged interactions with Garrett. He sounds kind of dry on the podcast, but damn, is he funny.
Oh, he's so
Garrett.
fun.
Garrett so is such a good guy. He's so much fun. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Please keep going.
No, you're good. So, again, my strategy comes from Benderson Little's book. The I don't think I have it. It's behind me somewhere. Sea Rover's Practice, where you would use muskets because it's cheaper than cannonballs. And I said, that's fine. Let's do it. Let's go. So I brought 3 units of European sailors, all with muskets, a unit of coppers with muskets and sidearm pistols, and then 2 units of Zeeleiden. All of these have Ruthless. All the musket units have a 6 shoot stat, and with Ruthless, that drops to 5. Goal is to sail in, and a Sharp-Eyed Lookout, and a Reformato. Reformato goes in the front, so if I have to activate, the European sailors to shoot, if they can't quite make their grapples, or if they do and they have no more actions, they can yell at the Zeeleiden to go over. It kind of varied. My goal was to put the European sailors over first because they have battle hardened, so once they get in, they'll stay, and then I can have the Zeeleiden come in and smash stuff. Didn't always go that way, especially when you flub 6 grapple rolls on the last turn of the tournament. But that was basically the goal. And I was not aiming to win this year. I just want to make it clear. I've been a little insufferable. I'm so ecstatic that I won 2 years in a row. Because my first year, I got exploded. My first year, I played Eric Goebel. Turn 1, activation, the last card. He had raked me because the wind changed. I couldn't quite get away from him, and the disrespectful light court guns off the back of his light frigate exploded me. So that was my intro to competitive gaming. And I was like, okay, there's no way for me. And I spent a year crafting this list, and it just went up in flames. I said, well, never again. So to win 2 times back to back feels great. But that wasn't the goal this year. I wanted to bring something Dutchy, because that's what my recent kick has really been on, playing the Dutch, because they're really fun. You should play them.
Thank you.
Can you just make sure you fill that up with hot water tonight so the seeds are easy for me?
Yeah. I'll put them in the.
If that's Kara, I say hi.
Dan says hi.
Hi.
Yay! I'm acknowledged. So from that was my strategy going in. Any questions from the class?
I will say the thinking of bringing lots and lots of units on a ship has its ups and downs, right? So when we played against each other, if you know the granularity of how some of the rules work, I do think that there are ways to counter somebody bringing massive amounts of units like you did with me.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I call it gumming up the deck, which is when you just have all the units that are all fighting each other at the exact same time, so you can't shoot into it or all that stuff. I do notice that does tend to happen when there's lots of units on the deck, which makes a lot of sense. Which was formed the basis of my strategy of trying to get a less good or a less harmful loss, I guess, was because once you failed all those, that Santiago, the wave stuff. Again, we'll talk about it in the third game. I'll bury the lead a little bit, but I was just looking up to see if Austin Privateers was technically a 18th century list. It is technically, I guess it's 16.
They run 16 to 17.
Right, but it doesn't really have all those units that you usually.
It doesn't have the good. It didn't get new toys.
Yeah, right. So me and you,
old toys.
And me and you have talked where the Buccaneer era is superior Blood and Plundering, in my opinion, at least.
Same. No arguments here.
Yeah, I absolutely have way more fun when you have.
There's a reason why most of those 18th century guys couldn't actually go and raid a city, whereas a lot of the Buccaneers could go raid a city and retire and go live somewhere else and be completely off the grid. And the modern pirates all got caught with their pants down by the Navy and the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't have what is it? The necessity's the mother of invention. as they say, have less fancy toys and have as many blunderbusses laying around to give out out for free with the crew.
Or you fired a musket once and thought you were going to go buccaneering.
Yeah. Yes. And so I played DeGraff. I liked cannons. I like cannons. I like big cannon go boom. And he makes big cannon go boom while also having access to...
He does indeed make big cannon go boom.
Sure does. And he makes your Marin... And the fact that you're shooting better with Marins, who are already good at doing other stuff, I think makes it a very interesting force. I love DeGraff. I think he's a really interesting part of human history.
He's so fun. He's so much fun.
He's who Jack Sparrow is based off of mostly. And he's kind of like that weird...
He should get a free musician because of bringing his guys to sing his praises wherever he goes, like damn Monty Python. It's great.
And he's also Dutch. DeGraff, I believe, is also a Dutchman. So we both...
He's a Dutchman who was pressed into service on a Spanish ship, who was then rescued by some Frenchmen, and then he just rose in the ranks of the French Buccaneers. He's great. I think he eventually got a naval commission, I think?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But we were both playing weird Dutch stuff going on in not Dutchland lists. So that's fun. Gotta love the Dutch. There's two things in this world I hate. It's people who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch.
Dutch hater!
So I had big cannon go boom list and you had a boarding list. So there you go. You go into it. Go ahead and do your first two games and then we'll talk about it.
So first game I was playing, I think his name is Ryan. I want to say Pemberton, could be wrong. His last name, I'm terrible with names. Anybody who knows me, if I see your Discord handle, I will know you by your Discord handle because that's what I see every day. But as far as like, if I see you once a year, I'm not going to remember your name because I'm stupid. Like, just right there. So the first game was with Brian. It was control the field where, you deploy like this and the goal is to get up ahead. My sharp-eyed lookout on all three games made sure that I was the attacker, which is important to my strategy. Needed to be the attacker because sailing upwind while I can do it was going to suck. So, unfortunately, I was in a beautiful painted sloop of war with bearded lady on the figurehead. Pictures are in the article. Took a Victrix Viking head, or a Rufus head technically, and stuck it on top of a headless mermaid that I had. And looks great. Fantastic psychic damage going in. But, so, he's in a flout, which handles like me after an extra large Papa John's pizza. So, like, there was no way he was going to get out in front of me. And I was coaching these newer players, so I was trying to coach him, like, here's what you can do, like, giving him all his options, but just knowing, like, I'm going to get ahead of this dude and I'm going to board him. Like, there's nothing... If he turns off and comes right for me, I will just turn in and still board him. Like, from the way I looked at everything, I was like, I'm just going to coach, have fun. It was fun. Good guy. Really fun. He was like, I'm really new. I'm like, okay, so it's fine. I will tell you exactly what you can and can't do. So it's like running a demo, but at a tournament. Basically shot the bejesus out of the units on the front deck of his flout, got close, and then did the dedicated climb up, and then he started killing guys, and he struck, I want to say, at the end of turn 2. I got 0 strike points. I dealt him 3 because I killed 2 units, and then I had a deck on his ship uncontested. So 3 strike points, dealt him, 0 on me. Pretty clean victory right there. And then after that came Ryan Hilliker. This is really funny because I played Ryan last year. He was my final game last year. And what happened last year was we got in counter, so we were pointing at each other. We moved in, we boarded, and then it was basically 5 turns of the bloodiest hand-to-hand combat anybody has ever seen. His English Buccaneers refused to surrender, men too angry to surrender, so I depopulated his entire ship, and that's what kind of cinched the victory there. It wasn't quite as easy this year because he was in a 6 rate with like 7 medium guns and 2 light guns. So I was like, oof, this is going to suck. I deployed out in front of him so he'd have to move an arc. And I just made sure he couldn't broadside me with like all of his guns at once, which he eventually did. But then he had some pretty cold dice and the damage was not what he wanted. So when I got there, I just hopped over. And once again, despite overwhelming odds, his Englishman just refused to surrender. So I depopulated his entire ship. 4 strike points. And then I got it was wanted man, so I got his commander, the token, like all of that, just complete. And we were I could see that he was frustrated, so I was just trying to be like, look, this is the same thing that happened last year. So it's kind of funny. Good guy, really fun. I think earlier in 2025, he told Josh that he was gunning for me. Well, he did bring it because I was very scared of his cannons. I was very scared. But cleared that off. Really nail bitey, but again, I think I took 0 strike points, dealt him full marks on everything. And then, our game.
Then it was us.
So, and again, at this point, I was like, okay, I can actually win this. What?
So my first game, I don't know the name of the guy I played. He was also somebody that was relatively new. He says he hasn't played for like a couple years. It was recorded, so if you want to watch it, Josh's channel. Actually, I should probably insert that. I actually don't know what his channel.
I think his name is Windward.
Windward. Yeah, that sounds right.
I just punch in Windward Blood and Thunder, and he pops right up.
Yes, it is called Windward on YouTube. I just double checked it. So if you want to watch that, I played against him. He's relatively new. His whole strategy was playing Pirates, the unaligned faction of Pirates, and he wanted to throw fire pots onto my ship. Respectable. It was the one where you have to get upwind, and I deployed, and as soon as I saw him deploy where he was coming at me, and he was essentially going to give up the wind, I was like, okay, something in my head was telling me, like, he must still be kind of new, or something like that. And I started talking to him, and he told me that he hadn't played for years. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to help him as much as I can.
Yeah.
And he came within that 4 inches to throw fire pots at me. But here's the thing. When a cannon's within 4 inches with a master gunner, all medium guns, it's going to insert pain here.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I did sink his boat. I filled it full of leaks, and it was pretty brutal. Yeah, it was I don't want to say I clubbed a seal, but it was definitely a case of...
You shed a single tear as you saw the guns go off and the ship start lurching and went, my God.
I felt bad. I did. It's like I tried to warn him. I was like, maybe do this, but he's like, no, this is what I want to do. I was like, okay, that's whatever. I warn, whatever. And, so it was a brutal beating. And I think I beat him by the end of turn 2.
The same thing happened last year where I got paired with a new player, and I had to explain to him how my Marins were hitting on 2s. Yeah, right. Because they go 5, 4, 3 for the dedicated action, all that, and then Ruthless brings it to 2. And I just saw, and I was like, I am so sorry. And there's 12 of them, by the way.
You don't want to feel like you're taking advantage of them, but, I mean, they're there, and you want to help them. I don't know. It's a hard situation to be in because, like, again, you don't want to be mean about it, but then you're like, okay, well, I can't sacrifice strike points here because you're trying to get to the top table or whatever. But yeah,
and his units were drunk, so they were saving like garbage too. I was just I'm so sorry.
I think the guy I was playing against, I don't know if his guys were also drunk. I'm not sure either. But regardless, yeah, I got like 7 strike points because you kill everybody and the ship sinks and it's like 6 or 7 or something like that. The second game I played against some jerkwad called Nigel again, and he was playing. Yeah, I know. This game, I just shot him with cannons a ton, and I thought he was just gonna run. I thought the distance game was gonna make the difference for us, and he was gonna try and get in and get a board in. But I just had some good dice, and my cannons hit when they needed to, and he, a couple of critical hits here and there. He couldn't repair his critical hits worth nothing. He couldn't, I think he failed like an advanced maneuver in there somewhere too. It was just,
oh goodness.
Yeah, he couldn't get it. He just couldn't get anything going. And I saw
God saw him and went.
I don't remember. I think at the end of the turn, he had so many leaks and all that. I think we just called it and we were like, he's definitely going to sink by the end of this next round or whatever. I think it was a case of like he rolled his leaks and they spread and his ship started sinking, and we were like, there's no way he can get to me because you still get one more turn of like trying to board or whatever.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't going to happen. So I walked away.
You just would have kept peppering him.
Right. So, oh no, actually in the first game, I only got 2 strike points because he striked out on the end of round 2 with the unaligned pirates, which gives you a reroll. Which is where you get 2 dice instead of 1 or whatever. And he rerolled. Yeah, he rolled 4 dice and failed every single one. I was like, bro, what is happening? Anyway, where it goes. All right. And then third round, I played against Dan. Hi, Dan.
Hi.
Oh, hey, you're here. Yeah, so we, what was the scenario? It was
escort.
Rescue.
So
yeah,
you
escort.
had, I just realized I wish it would have been the Joseph mini. That would have been funny.
So
rescuing podcast member from other podcasts.
I gave him both of the models that I painted for him because there's actually, as of now, the model's actually official. Padre Jose is in the Kickstarter. There is a version of him that no one else is going to get other than me and him, though, which is the one where he's wearing like shorts and he's like holding onto a book and also has it's like rosary beads. Yeah, it's like,
he's in shorts.
He's got this short skirt. There's like another version of him. Anyway, you can't really see.
Oh
it.
Yeah,
but there's another version of the model.
Legs.
Yeah, he's been doing his squats. He's been doing leg days.
Mhm.
And I almost wanted to ask him to take that to use as the hostage for it, but he was playing his game or whatever. I didn't want to bother him,
Mhm.
so I just used the merchant. But yeah, that would have been a really perfect addition to it. But I got that guy, and your whole list was to shoot me with tiny guns, and my whole list was to shoot you with big guns, and then you wanted to board me and kill me. To sum it up very quickly, you came at me full speed. They were coming right for us, kind of situation.
Mhm.
I did get a very good first like broadside off, but you saved like a god every
Yeah.
time I hit you with cannons, dude. You saved
My men
so
are very
well.
experienced at taking cannon fire.
Yes, they are. They knew exactly where to hide. They knew exactly where the skids were. They just kind of just threw the
They
shot
could see
off.
where the
and
holes were patched before.
Right.
Like, those are going to go first. Avoid that.
So with some good rolls on both sides, which is how I like to see it. You know, I'd rather see everybody
Yeah.
roll well as opposed to everybody rolling bad. But
Mhm.
there was definitely some good skewed luck in regards to not losing guys. But then it also kind of went the other way with your Santiago, where you failed like 4 or 5 boarding attempts or something like that.
I rolled every single unit on that ship, tried to grapple because they were all within range of some deck, and I failed every single one. And that really flustered me. I was like, oh man, am I going to be able to catch him? Because I had like -1 to my movement. You had -1 to your movement because of something. And then we
It was
got
a
the
lull.
wall. And then my favorite thing about that game wasn't even, the yay, I won. It was I got to do the black sails thing where you move people to the back of your deck and I just shot the bejesus out of them, and then you move someone else back and I shot the bejesus out of them.
So the only reason I even put a unit in the back again after you killed the first one was, you do lose the -1 turn value.
Yes.
Which I think in like thinking about it now probably wasn't quite as critical as I thought it might be, but I was just hoping to keep the maneuverability, because I think if I was able to get behind you, it would have put me in a better position at least. But the more and more I think about it, muskets are good just because of the fact that you don't need to have them in the arch of the cannon, right? You don't need the cannon arch.
Correct.
Where you
It's
can just kind of
360.
shoot off. Right. It's
And I
really
don't
good.
have to roll to see, if I hit you, and then roll to see if
Right.
I damage you. It's just I hit.
Right. And more often than not, you need 10s-ish to hit. Ruthless definitely
Mhm.
helps with that. You're probably roaming around that like 8, 9 every once in a while.
Mhm.
And I think you did it masterfully. Obviously, you've done it before, so you
Mhm.
kind of got the general gist of it. But like once that ship's on top of you, it's hard to get away.
Especially
just
because
there.
you were in a light frigate, I was in a sloop of war. We have the exact same sailing profiles.
Right.
So we were both equally as maneuverable. We had everything there. I put in my article, I was like, is there ever a reason to take a sloop of war over a merchant frigate? No, there isn't. I just did because I painted one up and I wanted to use it. Because they're the same points even. So like, why? But again, I just wanted to bring because it was silly fun.
And future speculation, by the time next Adepticon comes around, I bet the new boat totally
The Corvettas.
I bet how many Corvettas do you think we're going to see? I think we're going to see a ton of them.
I think that there's going to be people going to try to use medium guns with them, which is not the play.
Yeah, it's not the way to use it. It's a musket boat. I look at it and I'm like, this is a musket boat.
Light guns with grape shot as well. I have found
Right.
that light guns with grape shot also.
Because
But we'll see. It'll be the new hotness.
I think in a way I might play it as a medium gunboat as just like a handicap to be like if I'm playing somebody who's kind of like new to the game, I'll be like, oh no, I'm losing efficiency with my cannon so quickly. No, you're doing it. You're doing the best.
We'll see if they let me play next year. They might say no. You're demoted.
Once you get the hat trick, you're like, all right, Dan, no more hats. Take your damn hat off. You're not allowed to play the game. You just have to let because who was running it this year was Jason was the one running it this year.
Yeah,
let Jason play so he can play Spanish. But anyway, yeah, I'm interested to see. Obviously, I'm interested to see what's going to happen next year. But to wrap up our thing, something the shatter point, if you will, that's a Star Wars reference. Anybody doesn't know that?
I know it.
So the shatter
you
point.
See my Slave One poster right over there.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's a Slave One. The shatter point of our specific game was when you were doing the board, because like the first board you did, I just free actioned off, and then you boarded me again later. That's something that should be said, but not a whole lot happened in between that. You kind of shot at me. I think I lost. I think it's when I lost my 2 units. Yeah, we were circling each other, having a good time. I think I missed a very critical advanced maneuver where it was like something to keep the turns going. I think I missed one of those rolls, which was pivotal. Blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. You boarded and you started chopping up through the back. And my train of thinking was you sent in 2 units. One was really, really tiny and one that was more beefed up. And in my head, I knew I could kill that small unit, no problem whatsoever. But I decided that since you outnumbered me so much, it was a good idea to do the Thermopylae tactic of just like gum it up so that you can't bring a fresh unit into swing. And I think for the most part, that in combination with DeGaff's swordsman rule kind of really, I don't want to say neutered it, but it definitely like softened the hit.
It nullified Ruthless, which is a big thing. Like, that was a huge thing. Like, yeah, because my strategy when I got there was, yes, send the small units up first. When one unit dies, the man with the rifle picks up and then shoots. Yeah, so I just, you've cleared a spot. Go on.
So I was purposely, in a way, I was purposely not making certain charges at times and not using rerolls because I knew I could kill the tiny unit. That would have been like no problem, right? But I thought to myself, I can buy myself another round of cards and get more of a like impactful hit if I just wait until the next turn to do it at the top of the turn, or whatever. Blah, blah, blah. And I believe that there was a critical. I got the 13 of spades or whatever, but it was like I had a spade that was like one before you, and I killed a big unit before I could swing, kind of thing. And I do believe there was a point where I got you off my boat, and I could have done a free action to detach us. And in my head, I thought to myself, "Is it worth doing?" Because as soon as we do, we're going to go right back to you shooting me with the muskets. And I think I would have eventually just withered away if I didn't just immediately start running.
Yeah.
At which point you would have won either way. So there was 2 points in that game where I had to make a critical decision of, do I charge into the hail of bullets and gunfire for the opportunity to win, as opposed to knowing that if I were to just play more conservatively, I wouldn't be able to overcome the getting over the hill of casualties because you had already killed 2 units at this point.
So many copies on that ship.
It was crazy. And we were both making pretty good saves. I made some really clutch resolve rolls.
Yeah.
That were huge. Absolutely huge. I'm not going to say the dice didn't play a factor in it. But...
the only time I had to depopulate your whole boat because you would not surrender.
Yeah, for sure. DeGraff does not give up the boat. You do not give up the boat. But yeah, I think it was a really... and I think you should watch the video of it because this game was recorded. And I think that it's a very interesting take on knowing when to activate. It's when to hold them and when to fold them. I think it was a good opportunity for anybody who's not, who sees this kind of stuff to be like, oh, maybe it's a good idea to not totally murder the enemy unit because it does like to occupy space or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the way I saw it. I had a really great time. I used my brain a lot. It hurt. So many of those moving picture things that happened in my brain.
Yeah, the main thing I was doing was I moved my command unit up so you could yell command points at the dudes who were in melee as well. Like, I was trying to just, like, please just kill a unit so I can get my beefy command unit with pistols in there. Just do it. I have more guys on the ship that are just waiting for a fight. You got away and they are angry.
And you totally depopulated me. I got you over half, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you were the only person who dealt me strike points. Yeah. And you dealt, and 3 of them.
And one of them was hull strength because I knew that I at least wanted to hit you with enough cannons to get you to the half hull strength thing.
Hull strength and then 2 strike points for casualties.
Right. So I walked away from it feeling really good. I've definitely played a lot of games where I've gotten the top table and then I flub it because I do something stupid or whatever. But I walked away from that game thinking, damn, I did everything I could. I don't think I could have asked for anything more from the dice that would have been remotely fair. And
it was a good game. It was fun. It was so much fun.
Good. Yes. It was one of those games where not only was it fun from a, like, us hanging out as the boys kind of way, but it was like a game where you sat there and I was like, God damn, what just happened? Like, this is crazy.
You're not supposed to be this good at the game. You're the meme lord.
Yeah, you're bringing this memey list on me, boy. So I will say that my walking away thoughts are, Austin Privateers are really good. I do think it's weird that they get the access to a Santiago, especially since it's a Protestant.
That will more than likely, it'll probably be changed.
I totally thought that they were going to change the characters for Pacific Adventures. They didn't actually change those before this Adepticon.
I know that Mike said they have them ready, they just haven't released them yet.
But
was another thought was, do you want to see me do it again? Yeah. But I was like, no, I'm not going to be that guy.
But I didn't see anybody really abusing it this year.
Garrett had some of them with his guys because he was doing Brother in the Coast, and he had, I think, Robert Sharp. I think, or something. Searle, I don't
There's
know.
Bartholomew
But
Sharp.
yeah,
Robert
Bartholomew
I
Sharp.
believe,
There we
is-
go. He had him with his veteran Buccaneers, which that's a good combo because that, oof, ouchie. No,
Because
thank
even when I fought Robert Montgomery, he also had some characters from Pacific Adventure, but it wasn't like oppressive. It was just kind of like, yeah, I kind of get why they're there. You know, it's fine. Yeah, right. Yeah. Right. Mr.
If I downgrade all my
Fantastic.
Marins to inexperience and put a character with them, they act like they're trained.
All these extra actions practically for free. Am I the one out of touch? No, it's the kids. They're the ones that are out of touch. So, yeah, I didn't really see anybody abuse that. I didn't see anything this year that requires like a lot of change. Like, you know, there was the fire pop fiasco from like 2 years ago or whatever it was. And then there was the Pacific Adventures thing. And then this year it just seemed like people were just playing Blood and Plunder.
Yeah, like arguably, I don't consider my list cheesy, but that Santiago is a little cheesy. But like, I didn't feel like that was ever a deciding factor. It gave me like, give everybody actions, but there wasn't the dream scenario where we're grappled like this, and I can send everyone and their grandma over. That never happened. It was usually just charge, reload. You need a rally. You need a rally. Okay, we're good. It wasn't really offensive.
No, I agree, and I don't think it was either. Yeah, and the only reason I even think it's a little odd that they can do it is, again, purely from a fluff standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like, why is it that a bunch of like Protestants are listening to this like Catholic priest? I don't know if you knew this. The Protestants and the Catholics weren't exactly friends. At this
what? No.
Yeah, it's wild.
No way. What?
Yeah,
they hold hands and sing Kumbaya.
Yeah, the Spanish Netherlands were that was an interesting time in human history. It was it's a tad bloody, but regardless. Yeah, so I walked away from that feeling very satisfied. Usually after Adepticon, like when I was playing MCP especially, I was like, when I got home, I was like, I don't want to look at this game. I just need to break. But as soon as I got back home, I was revved and ready. I was like, I can play some Blood and Plunder right now. Easy. No problems. No questions asked.
I got back and my group said pillage, and I said, yeah we'll do pillage. That sounds fun.
We've been doing some Carnival here just because when we went there, TT Combat was obviously there. You don't want to pay the import fees because it is a British company, and I got all their terrain and all that. So as soon as the day I got back, I started building that terrain, and it took me 2 weeks to build the entire Venetian quarter. It's good stuff. Like, you know, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we do.
Yeah. Same. I got home. I started painting some of my Blood and Valor stuff. I commissioned, I think his name is Maul, Maoul. He's actually sculpting me a armored car from 1905. That cool. He's like, I could give it to you. He's like, don't give it to me. Put it on your shop so I can buy it, please. So every time I ask for something, he's like, here's the STL. I'm like, bro, I'm all for paying artists. Let me pay you your money.
Does it look like a roller skate like all the other BAs?
No, it looks like like an old time thing, like a Ford Model T looking thing that's just been armored off with a machine gun on top.
I know exactly what you're talking about. World War One was
I'll send you a picture afterwards. It's really funny. I love it.
I'm pretty sure I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure I've seen it before, but oh my god, dude, World War One.
It's an Austrian car, I think.
I so badly just want to bring a Mark IV, not because they're good in that game. I just love how stupidly impractical that tank is.
I will hook you up with our homebrew tank battle rules, because you could print a bunch of those and just have a World War I tank battle where you're all moving like 4 inches and shooting machine guns at each other, waiting for someone to break down. It's so much fun. Our most favorite memories, because we homebrewed some tanks that are in the game, because like, you know, one was built. I have a 3D printed Tsar tank that's huge. They only made one because it got stuck in the mud and they left it there till the Soviets took over. And it's super, super silly. We're like, we'll just make it because it's fun. I have a super heavy Russian tank that looks like a box with treads and one little gun out the front. It's really silly. World War I tanks are so silly, and they are so much fun to paint and game with.
It's fun to watch humans try and figure things out. You know,
my favorite scenario in Blood and Valor is the scenario where 2 forces are fighting over a disabled tank, and one side is desperately trying to fix it. The other side is saying, no, gimme.
It's probably the Italians. It's always the Italians.
The prequels, hey, that's mine! Or the Star Wars sequels, that's mine!
Yes.
Hashtag cancel, because I mentioned the sequels.
I was going to say, be careful. I next year, my intention is to have access to Oak and Iron if they do decide to do an event for it. I know that this year they didn't do an event for it. That was the one I was trying to think of earlier. Mm-hmm. There was like some kind of attendance thing where they just couldn't get enough people that actually wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Because there was like other stuff going on. I would love to see Blood and Bayonets be, if not a tournament, then like some kind of like play date thing or whatever. I would love to go there with my French and I don't know, lay down some Napoleonic code. How dare you trade with the British, you big jerkwad? I'm going to invade you and lose 500,000 people in the Russian countryside. It'll be fine.
I have a podcast to send you, by the way, that I think you'll love.
It is public knowledge that Rufus is doing the invasion of Russia as the next supplement for that. Which is one of the reasons why Spain probably went the way it did, is because he left right before he could finish it, because he was chasing more, I think. Whatever.
Again, when I found out, I said, "Hey, you want help?" And he went, "Yeah, send me something." Again, 24 hours later, Russian Navy, Russian Army, Cossacks. There you go. Have fun.
It's such an interesting thing where every single time we talked about it in your episode too.
Yeah,
it's like the Russians are the comeback kings. They get the heck kicked out of them, and then they just come back and they're like, "Hey, yeah, it's fine."
The funny thing about that one is that their head commander was a German, and the Russian troops would always be like, "Hey, look, there goes the traitor!" And just harassed him because the Tsar and everybody else go fight the French. And he's like, "No, bro, our army sucks. We cannot stand up to the French. We are burning everything and pulling back." And then when it started working, they were like, "Okay, we're not going to execute you or fire you. Just, keep going. Just make sure you make us look." It's so funny. It's so funny because the common thing is like, yeah, they're the comeback kid. It's like they were just as bad, worse off as the French were. They knew they couldn't take them head on, so they just kept pulling back and knew that eventually Napoleon would run out of steam.
I mean,
and then Napoleon got mad when he gets to Moscow and it's burned down. He's like, "They're not here to surrender to me." And they're like, "We don't play by the rules, bro."
And I just love how he waited he sent the letters like, "Are you ready to surrender?" And he just kind of waited there for 2 months. And he's like, "Oh, I guess they're not going to call back. Okay, I guess I'll leave."
The DBZ abridged. "And notice me." No.
No space ducks. No space ducks involved with that one though. The majestic space duck.
Quack.
Anything else happen at Adepticon that you think is worth noting on your end, sir? What'd you do Sunday?
Obviously, I left on Sunday. I had to take a train, so I get there Wednesday night. I'm there until Saturday, and then Sunday morning I hop on a train and go back because I hate flying. But yeah, no, I think everything went well. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, getting to hang out with you and having all the community there is also really great. Getting to hang out with Mike and show off his minis that he's painted, really, really cool. Rufus is always super fun. Kai is always super fun. Yep. It's a great time. I love meeting everyone, even though I'm terrible with names. I made sure to try to put faces to the names. I'm on Facebook now, but yeah, cause I'm like, "Oh, hi, I saw you last year." And okay, yeah, totally.
Listen, there's definitely been some time. I shouldn't say this as a doctor, but they come in, a patient will come in, and they won't have come in for a year or whatever. And I see their name, and I'm like, I know I've seen this name. I look at their face, and I'm like, I definitely remember you. And then as soon as they lay on the table and I see their spine, I'm like, oh, now I remember. Now I remember this spine. That's a weird Cairo thing, but yeah, there's definitely if you don't see somebody for over a year,
I shall break you.
Get those joints moving real good. The old crack addict pops out of me. But yeah, so I agree. The energy in that room, the Blood and Plunder area, is palpable. It's crazy how much fun everybody's having. It's hard to describe. I had a lot of people go to get demos of Blood and Plunder from the other games that we cover on Arachne. So I know that a lot of people that play Cyberpunk were like, "What is with this game?" He's super excited about it. They all went. I know at least 2 people that converted, and they bought at least the 2-player starter box or whatever.
One of us.
Yeah, getting sucked into this pit. But yeah, so I had a great time. My Sundays, I think I might also leave on Sundays from now on. I like to stay and help clean up the con at the very end, but I don't know. That Sunday's there's just not a lot going on.
Yeah, I had to go to bed early basically because they moved my train from the initial 9 o'clock to from 11 to 9. I was like, I gotta go and make sure that I get some sleep. I gotta make sure that I'm all packed up. So I basically get up, leave my key for other Jason, and then just head on out. And then I left my Fallout cup, and Eric had to go and run to the hotel and give it to me. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. I would have been so sad if I would have left that, because I got this for Adepticon.
It should be said that I lost my deck. I can't find my card deck anywhere. I don't know where it is. I mean, it's fine. It was just like an English card deck. It's not a huge deal, but I lost my card sleeves. But I also forgot my jacket. I left it under a table, and I just couldn't find the dang thing. I went there and me and Carol looked for like 30 minutes, just could not find the thing. But regardless, whatever. The funny things that you do when you go to cons. But yeah, if you have a deck that has Assassin's Creed on the back of it as the card sleeve, that was my deck, and you know what? You could just keep it. It's fine. It failed me in my last game at the C tournament. It doesn't deserve to come home. It failed me for the last time.
If there was no stealth, there's no stealth optional because I don't even use stealth in video games. They're like, oh, hide in the hay. Why has he burned all the hay bales?
It's when you play Ghost of Tsushima, and you know they're like stealth was never an option. You just walk in, do the showdown at the very end. You kill like 4 of them. Regardless, whatever. But yeah, this was a very successful Adepticon. I don't want this episode to go too long, but
that's fine.
Yeah, it was a great time. I absolutely had a baller time the entire time. Speculation wise, what do you think we might see next year? Like I said, I think the Corbata will definitely be a factor.
And the Corvette will definitely be a thing. I'm sure people will paint it and want to come out and play it. Mm-hmm. As far as C goes, I hope to see some more balancing. I feel like the game as right now is pretty balanced, but again, the mission priests, I think, is one. The Pacific Adventure characters, I heard those will get out. But otherwise, we talked about Jamaican privateers. Fix being just give them pistols and make them 1 point more, because that 4-point musket unit is really, really hard to turn down. They're so good for what they are. But other than that, I feel like the game is a good point. I hope we see more boarding lists, because I know there's more. Joseph played one, don't want to leave him out. But I want to see more optimized boarding lists, because well, I feel like, again, my list was fine. It kind of threw a wrench into Tyler Stone's calculator, because he was speculating that, that grape shot and muskets are king, and I clean sweeps twice with a boarding list and muskets. So I like to see more of that. I hope people aren't afraid of melee at sea. I think people aren't afraid of melee on land typically, but I feel like still a lot of people are afraid to get close. Don't be afraid to get close. Go bonk some heads. It's the best part of the game. Melee is fun. I've played games where melee is terrible, and melee and plunder is so much fun.
I've never had much luck with grape shot. Every time I've tried to use it, I just don't. I don't get what I feel like.
I've never had good luck with cannons. If I rolled a 10 dice broadside out of a 6 rate, I crammed it full of light guns. I rolled them all and got 2 hits. Re-rolled it and got no hits. So I don't play guns because my guns don't like to hit.
That's tough.
My cannons say, you should be on their ship by now. What the hell are you doing? This isn't you. You're not you when you're hungry. Eat a Snickers.
That's tough. That's pretty tough. But yeah,
his gets.
if Corbatas are going to be a factor, what is the Corbata weak to? It's a fairly maneuverable 3-deck ship. I feel like it's just weak to getting shot with cannons.
Sustained cannon fire. A good broadside could, especially maybe if you take its rigging out and make sure that it can't, move or do anything. It might be the first ship where it's worth a mobility kill. But we'll see. I want to play test more of it. I haven't a chance to play more of it yet, but I plan on it because it's slowly becoming my new favorite ship.
I think I'm going to try.
It's like frigate, but tinier.
Yes, I think that is something I want to try and play with maybe over Summer of Plunder, is do the actual French thing where instead of shooting the deck, I'm shooting the sails, just to see if it is it worth it? Every time I've seen people talk about it, it never really seems like it's worth the effort. Because you're not really killing people, and if they're shooting muskets at you, it doesn't really slow down the musket fire, and it just doesn't seem
I think there might be a play where you're using muskets to shoot the enemy, and then maybe using cannons at the rigging. But yeah, try it. Let us know how it goes. I'd love to see a mobility kill. That would be, if it becomes viable because someone figures some game stuff out, that would be cool.
And one other call out, something that I did see that absolutely made me laugh every time I saw it, was Eric's stupid distraction flute list that he brought. That stupid flute. People kept shooting at it. I'm like, why are you shooting at the flute? There's nothing on it. And somebody ghost shipped it too, I think, where they killed everybody on it with musket fire or cannon fire or something like that. And the boat just started drifting off into the ocean.
This is Piragua last year. It's distraction Piragua. I depopulated it and it just sailed off the board with an IOU in Spanish written on it.
It was just ridiculous.
But hey, that's creative and that's good. Weird works.
Yeah, 100%. And I was even thinking, is there weight to the whole maybe European version of the canoe list where you just bring nothing but piraguas with swivels on it. We've definitely talked about it in my shop. It's like if you bring like English Navy or something like that, you can get like it's like 6 or 7 piraguas all with full swivels and all with sea dogs on it. I'm kind of like, is it worth all the effort? I mean, it's a lot of painting you got to do, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I mean, next year I was thinking about bringing English Caribbean Militia with Edward.
That's something we didn't see. We did not see. I know there's a few lists. I'm not going to mention the list because nobody wants to play it because it's not fun for the opponent, like, at all. But natives with canoes at sea, I consider those to be another hard counter to cannons because unless you're using grape shot, it's a +4 to hit regardless of range, which means you're looking for 8s or more. So, like, that would be a thing that if people want to play with something new, run natives and canoes.
Yeah, there wasn't. I don't think anybody was doing it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Again, it could be expense, things like that.
Yeah, that's always a factor.
That's something that could be cool.
I just got to do the European version of it. I don't want to play natives. I got to do the stinky imperialism version of it, where it has sails on it. I do love a good piragua.
Mm-hmm. I got 2 of them. I think they both have the teen sails on them. So,
ooh, that's cool. That's fancy.
Mm-hmm. My Bark Long has that too. My Barca Luengo's got the Tartana sails on it too, and it's sexy.
Gotta love a good Tartana. Anyway, before this episode gets so long that Kara wants to murder me, we should probably do a wrap up. So yes, guys, thank you very much for listening. To this. So thank you very much for listening to this episode. We've been having a great time. Blood and Plunder is still going nice and strong. There's currently the Kickstarter's out. I think when this episode comes out, it might probably be over, but. They'll definitely have some late additions that you can add to it. So yeah, go on there, get some.
Supposedly there'll be another one right after, so we'll see.
That's true, because a Pirate I Might Be, one. Which is the Triangle Trade book, which will have like
Golden Coast. I've seen it. Yes. I play tested it when it first came into being. A lot of fun. African Kingdoms. They did a bang up job. Can't wait for that.
So I guess it's like a different take on if you wanted to play native. It's like a kind of a different version.
It's its own nation, but they play very differently, very distinctly.
Right. Awesome. You love to hear that.
And they make minis for it. So.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah.
Because I know they've been making Indian minis from like the Mogul Empire. Those popped up.
I can't reveal everything because I haven't given permission yet, but I've seen some pre-sculpts of some of the African minis, and nice.
That's exciting. Great.
Nice.
But so I think we talked about it. Guys, hear me out. Give us some 5-star reviews if you can. It helps get the word out there for me to have more episodes with Dan on. We'll just have Dan keep coming on the show. I did officially get an invite to go.
$2,000 as Patreon makes, I will remove an article of clothing whenever I'm on.
He goes each sock first though. He goes down up.
Socks, hat, earbuds,
accessories first. I have officially been invited on for the May episode of Blood and Pigment, so that's fun. Hopefully I'll be there.
We'll see you there.
I'll meet you there. But yeah, if you want to go,
my turf.
Everybody's bullying me. Somebody send help. So that'll be good. And is there anything else I really want to add here? I don't think so. But yeah, any reviews like that would be very helpful. We really do appreciate it. And if you want to talk to me, my name's Dr.D, Dr.D. You can find me on Discord as Dr.D, which is Dr.D. Or you can email me at furypainting@gmail.com. Dano, if they were looking for you, where could they find you?
So you can find me at bloodandpigment.com, where there's also a Blood and Pigment YouTube channel. That's primarily where I reside. I'm also on the Firelock Discord, but same thing, Blood and Pigment. We also have a Patreon if you want to support what we do. We spit out articles. We have some YouTube videos that are still incoming. Right now we're mainly doing articles. We get preview materials, so if you want to know what's going to be in the Kickstarter, we're pumping that out. I have a couple articles in queue. I'm just waiting for Joseph's final stamp approval to go ahead and send. And then from there, Frozen Empires, it'll help the blog, it'll help me. Go ahead and take a look at it. It is a Great Northern War supplement. It is unofficial, but it can be used in your non-Firelock official tournaments if you want, or in casual games. Lots of fun stuff. Go ahead and take a look. If it's something you're interested in, there's stuff in there for everybody.
It's like 3/4 official.
I would argue yes.
Yeah, it's like three. Yeah,
it's like 3/4.
It's like as official as you possibly can be. Yeah, it's as official other than them just saying you can bring it so far. Yeah, it's solidly play tested. Just put it. Every event I run, it's legal. I'm going to put it that way. It's great. I have really enjoyed reading it. But regardless, and thank you all the people in the background who keep the podcast running, which is Kara for doing most of the editing and Tim for running the network. We really appreciate what you guys do. Thank
you, Kara.
Kara's great. Yeah, people met Kara at Adepticon. Everybody, she had an absolute ball of the time. I should say that. And thanks for listening, Buccaneers. Make sure you follow the glint of gold and keep your wind to the back. Yarhar.
Yar.